What is going on? My name is Jake Hofer. I am a real estate broker out of the state of Illinois, co-owner of Exodus, and this is a snippet from the Land Podcast with Brian Haugen. I want to say he bought his first 80 acres when he was around 22, 23 years old, has helped a ton of people, probably well over multiple hundred, buy and sell ground over the years as he's a broker in multiple states. And he shares a piece of advice on don't make this mistake when buying your first piece of ground. It's really important. I hope you guys really enjoy it. If you do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We have new uploads every single Thursday and Saturday, podcasts on Monday at 5 a.m. So hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. Here we go. So I guess when you say not putting all your eggs in one basket, does that mean in one business, in one farm? What was your mistake, and what won't you do again because of it?
Right. I focused 100% on the operational aspect of farming.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't focus on the investment side of the land involved in farming. I just wanted to rent more and rent more and rent more.
Okay.
And that was bad. And when I talk about that, like you're starting out and you want to buy a farm, right? Maybe you don't want to put it all into this beautiful timbered piece that's hinge cut and all food plots, and you're going to kill a 200-inch deer every year, you know. Maybe that's not the farm you should buy first. You should diversify. Maybe buy a mixed use so you get some income. You know, if tillable's good, rec goes a little south, you still, you know, just whatever you do, like even in LandProz, even if buying a farm, don't dump it all into the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's I guess what I mean by that.
Okay, gotcha. So in hindsight, do you wish you would have tried to acquire more properties to actually farm versus cash renting, or operate on a smaller scale and not as spread out and focus on your backyard?
The scale wasn't the problem. It was I took too much risk on, and I didn't make any investments to protect myself from that risk. So right now, you and I know rec land's through the roof. So is tillable. But rec land, when and if we waiver, and probably more of a when, you maybe won't have the backing of the income producing on it. So that's kind of what I mean in it, you know. Mm-hmm. So just to bring it down to simple terms.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I think. I don't know. You've learned a lot in the last 18 years. Sounds like a lot of a variety of businesses. I wouldn't have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed those businesses if you made me. So that's. I'm glad I learned those. So I think that kind of leads into a question I have is, you know, I'm sure over the years you've worked with a lot of first time buyers, and maybe that is people wanting to buy farm ground or whatever ground to invest, as in just out of sight, out of mind type investment, or actually people buying it to use it, recreate on it with their family. What's a mistake that you see a lot of those folks make on that first purchase? Because it's the most important one. It really is.
That first one's really important. And I don't want to make this sound like a shameless plug. And I don't care if it's LandProz or any of our competitors that do a great job. Just find a good, I don't care if it's even an agent, find somebody that knows what they're doing. Find a mentor, you know, and that mentor could be a great real estate agent. That mentor could be a landowner that tells you to clean your own toilets. It just don't go to Zillow or don't go knock doors. Find somebody that you can bounce ideas off. And in most cases, a real estate professional is a good one, especially if you can make friends with them. You know, Jake, I'm sure you're making a lot of friends by giving this information that you are the way you are to new buyers. And I know you want to be their friends. So if you don't know anybody, call Jake, call somebody. Right. Doesn't have to be just call or talk to somebody to get mentored. That's really the biggest mistake.
Yeah, for sure. I think, not knowing what you don't know as you go in to buy your first one. And I always say, and it's like, you want that farm to be a springboard, not an anchor, meaning you don't want that to be weighing you down and you're kind of stuck. And I think recreational farms, and maybe you have more data on this, but it almost seems that there's a 7 to 10 year turnaround time, or even 5 to 10 year, like they buy the first farm, then they want to end up upgrading, getting the farm closer to home, or whatever the case may be. Like you want that to hopefully have good chunk of equity, you improve the property, you bought into a good neighborhood, it's desirable to someone else, versus you bought a turd, you couldn't polish the turd, now you can't sell the turd. And that's the thought there. Would you agree with that?
I 100%, you know, and people get into flipping houses and rehabbing houses. These farms are not houses. I mean, they're very distinct, and you need, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. You need to find somebody to help you with that. And that, you're so right. That first one is a springboard. And another thing I always say, do not get too emotional. Buy it. You don't have to marry it. You might want to sell it before you even close on it. You just never know. So don't get too emotional. Don't get too attached. And remember, you're probably buying a springboard. Just think of it that way. Just keep it that simple. Now, maybe if your goals are different, you say, I just want to buy 40 acres and I want to live happily ever after down by the creek and have my little kid, whatever you want it for, that's okay. It's going to appreciate and it's going to do well. But most people in real estate are looking as the investment side of it because it does appreciate and it appreciates nicely over time. So think of it that way. Think of it as your springboard. Don't get emotional. And the next thing I would just say, quit overthinking it. Just buy it.
Yeah.